over some of your business ideas, your business plans. Just tell me a little bit about your business. I know that you have a concierge yoga business, and we talked a little bit offline, and seems like you are sort of moving away from that business. Are you, or
Yes.
are you just sort of restructuring?
I'm moving away from it. iYoga has had some great years, established April 6, 2016, but it's time. It is time. And the only thing I can say is, when God speaks, I listen. And last year when I turned 36, my word for the year, and I didn't try to do this, but it was just, the Holy Spirit was nagging me that this is my word, obedience. And at the time, I thought it was for a whole nother reason. And now I'm seeing that it was likely for this situation happening right now. And I'm really like, I kept saying, wow, a lot of times, like, oh, wow, I'm really doing this. Like, wow, I'm really just like deleting these pages or deleting this portion or restructuring my website because that's going. And it's like, yes. And I'm like, wow, okay. But, I'm moving forward with confidence, Godfidence, people say, but honestly, when God gives instructions, he also grants grace. He gives us grace. And so I'm taking all of that as I'm moving forward.
That's awesome. So I guess I was going to ask what motivated you to just sort of shift, but God, it's almost not even motivation. It's almost like instruction. And there's a huge difference between those two things.
Yeah. Like, I did not know we were going to talk about this with Carlisa, but it's okay. It's okay. Because I was just like, seriously, how am I going to share this? And I know there are some people I'm going to share with directly, but it's happening now. So it's so funny. I really was like, how am I going to share this? And you're going to help me. So I'm going to be taking some of this footage. But yeah, I had been quite like, there were a lot of concerns regarding like around the business, around yoga. And then I had these concerns and then, it was just different things. And it was just like, yeah, you can have questions and concerns, but if you don't like seek information, seek clear guidance, you probably won't get any like resolution to it.
Right.
So I finally got the resolution.
Good for you. So do you know what's next yet?
I don't know what's next exactly, because I've been asking that question too. But I do know that self-care is still, paramount. I do know that wellness is still paramount. I am hosting a self-care retreat this year. I'm saying that. And I'm like, well, then what are we doing? Like, cause I'm just like, are we not going to do yoga? Well, I'm not sure. Like, so the thing is, I don't know exactly what will happen, but I know that we're still going to be caring for women, caring for mothers, because we need it. And we need a space to be together and to be within our bodies, connect with each other and be able to like, I still feel like we should be able to feel relaxed, receive nourishment without it being external. Like, I don't think that we need to always like have a massage or have someone do something to us, although I think those are good. But I want to say, like, how can we get that, how can we get it for ourselves without having another person involved?
No, and I get it. Most recently, and I had been doing this before, and it was because I was meditating before. And it was because I was going through some struggles with fertility. And that's when I really started it. And it's interesting. My husband and I both were doing it. Like, it was just a thing. And it's interesting because I used sort of meditation and, for lack of a better term, hypnosis. And maybe it's not a lack of a better term, but it was hypnosis that I used to get me through my pregnancy and my birth, because I knew what I wanted. I just wasn't clear on how to get there. And so I basically I used a program called Hypno Baby to help me get through like pregnancy and birth. And I recently started meditating again. And as I realized that those are things, that's something that once you get started, if you're doing it consistently, you don't lose it. And so it has become very instrumental in just the last couple of weeks. My best friend was telling me, well, one of my best friends was telling me she had started meditating, and that's how she starts her day. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get back to that. I think there's a difference between when I was doing it before at 32 and 33 and me doing it now at 40. I just know more about life. I know more about God. I know more about me, you know? And so with that, I just invite you to even consider, I don't know if that's something that you would consider, but to invite you to consider some of that practice within your retreat if you haven't even considered it. And it made me think about it because you're you know, expressing not really wanting to have to use an outside force and to be able to really go inward, which is very instrumental even in yoga. I mean, you know that you're a yoga instructor, you know that. And so and in being able to really in the meditation understanding that it's God is important for me, you know, because there are a lot of people who don't believe that it's God when you do things like meditate, but prayer is meditation. And I do believe there's some passages in the Bible that tells us to meditate.
Yeah. Look, meditate on his word day and night. And I totally agree that I think you have to begin somewhere. And as you begin, you will feel more connected, and then you'll be able to grow from there. I mean, I know some people who it's even hard to sit and pray or sit and journal, carving out that time. It's become more hard for me. It's become so hard for me. Yeah. And so
it's your life is moving always.
But like we have to make room. And I'm, you know, making room. I feel like there's this analogy of like when you prune plants and you prune them, it's like, you know, damaging, it's cutting them a little bit, removing old or dead things, and then more life comes. So I am, you know, pruning right now. I'm in the pruning season, making room for God to just show up and show out. Like, you know, he's already here, but I need to make more room for him and more space. And so that's the goal.
It's interesting because this morning in my meditation, so I just started maybe a couple of weeks ago, and this week I've been taking screenshots of my time and sending them to my best friend as just sort of a accountability thing. And she's sending me hers, and each day it's ended with the time has this, because we use a stopwatch, so the time ends with 1. Each day, and we're within a minute of each other, or you know, 30 seconds of each other. And so I told her this morning, I'm like, it's killing me that we're ending with this number 1. And I wonder, she was like, I hadn't noticed it, but until you mentioned it. And I'm like, I wonder what this is. So of course I looked it up. And 1 is the symbol of unity. And it often symbolizes God or the universe. And a few weeks ago, someone said to me, they said, your overwhelm is proof of the abundance that you asked for. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because I asked for these kids and they just kept, you know, they kept multiplying. And it's overwhelming sometimes to parent 3 children at one time. But I asked for it. And there's a reason why God gave it to me. So my kids are not a burden, but at times parenting can be a lot. Yeah. And I know, you know, because you have 3 kids and they're pretty much the same ages as my kids. How old is Leia?
Yeah. Leah is 3, but she'll be 4 in May.
And
Corday is 2. He'll be 2.5 in May.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's really close to Maverick's age. They're well, I mean, a year apart.
Yeah. Maverick is 19 months on the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then in
Io, he'll be 7 in July.
And Cannon will be 7 in July. So
okay.
Yeah. What day is it? Remind me.
July 5th.
Okay, and
Right?
Canon's the
Yeah.
13. Canon is the 13. Um, so nonetheless, it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, but
Mhm.
I'm not gonna even say but because I don't wanna um
And
and is on the word. It can be a lot and it's a blessing. And
yes.
I never want to take that for granted. Um
Both and so I would like to mention that I've had to come to the realization that, and there's certain things that I grabbed from the Malika Mamas group, connection over correction. Like I had to remind myself that of the times where we were able to just connect more, those are always great times. And where I was able to like kind of let them lead
yeah,
me out, in a place where it was like easy. We're outside, like, okay, where do you want to go? Should we turn left or should we turn right? And like,
right.
I don't have to have control over every part of the day. And so that was fun. Like for me to watch everybody from 6 years old to 2 years old thrive in their own area. Corday was holding Jack on the leash. I had the 3 kids and a dog on my
By
own,
yourself?
but I was okay. Yes, we were, but we were
Oh,
outside walking.
you were bold.
No.
You are bold.
Now, if we were in a store, too many variables, just way too many variables. I don't mind like the open air park, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was just like, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. And I could still try to make it seem as if, oh my goodness, it was a lot. But I was like, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I didn't like have to corral anybody into one area. Now that's when it's a lot of struggle and
Yes.
pushback. Because it's like, right. And it was like it was unnecessary for me to try to like take over in any way.
Right.
I was like, and I told them, I said, I'm watching y'all. As long as you all are safe, that's okay. You all have to watch the dog. If something happens to Jack, that's on you. I was like, I can't focus on him and y'all. But it was just like really, and it was funny because it's like they understood me. They were like, okay, we'll take care of Jack. Good. And nobody was fighting over anything. So yeah, but I see what you're saying. Like, and that's another mindset shift that these blessings, and I feel like I've heard it said before that there's essentially blessings can be a burden or burdens can be a blessing. It just depends on how you see it. But it really depends on the way you see it.
Yeah, I agree.
So over anything. So yeah, but I see what you're saying. Like and that's another mindset shift that these blessings, and I feel like I've heard it said before that there's essentially blessings can be a burden or burdens can be a blessing. It just depends on how you see it. But it really depends on the way you see it.
Yeah, I agree. So do you let's go back to your retreat because this is very interesting to me.
Okay.
Have you sort of shaped and molded, and you don't have to share everything, obviously, but whatever you feel comfortable sharing, have you shaped and sort of molded what you want that to look like?
Yes. And I have a few people in mind who will be pouring into women, speaking, like what is like charging almost, but like just encouraging. And so I have like 3 people. And then there's other portions that I'm just not sure. I haven't fleshed it out completely, but I just want you to show up and have a good time, like relax, feel like just like weightless. Nothing is holding you down, holding you back. I think that initially I wanted to do it where there's a retreat. You can attend a retreat and bring your family, but your family, they already have like things engaging the kids, whatever, like they're good, they're covered. Mm-hmm. And then you are at this retreat. So just be like, you don't have to feel as if I can't attend because I can't figure out childcare. Right. No. Now I'm not there yet, but I was like, that's my ultimate. I would love to see something like that happen where it's like a family vacation, but it's like you come back and you're like, oh, I'm really refreshed. Like this was amazing.
Yes, that sounds amazing.
Right. And I mean, I've connected with people and there's like, I was just like, I didn't know I needed you, but we're connected. And I'm like, wow. And now I hear what you're doing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I could use that. Okay, I've seen what you do. I love what you do. I'm gonna put you on notice. Get your speaking fees together because you're, like, and so I have pieces, but I don't have it all. But it's okay. I'm excited that I have an idea, a picture, and I'm just looking forward to seeing it all come together.
It's kind of like I get really emotional when I listen to people's goals and aspirations in their business and in their life. I really do, because I can see it for them. And what's interesting here is that this is a great display of how I know when you started a yoga, you were scared. And now in hindsight, how small that fear was and how small your objective was and how big this retreat is. It seems so big to us when we get started. And once we're in it, we're like, oh, okay, I got my footing, I'm comfortable. But there's this thing, this person, this force called God. It's like, child, don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable, because I have more for you. This is the intro, and it grows and grows and grows. And in order for that growth to really happen, sometimes we have to let that baby go. We have to let that infant that we're still coddling and loving on go and invite others in for help. You can, but obviously you don't want to run a retreat on your own. So you're starting to identify people who can and will meet the goals, help you meet the goals of the retreat. And that's beautiful. It's beautiful. Will it be here in the Atlanta area, or are you thinking like a true family vacation situation?
So the first one will be local, and the next one and it's like the next one. I didn't do. Yes, I said it. So, an annual thing or whatever. But the next one will probably be bigger and go out of the country, or no, within the country, out of the there's so many possibilities and opportunities. So I'm excited for it, but it will be out of the Atlanta area, the next one.
I actually do. But I really appreciate you just booking this and being the inaugural person client.
Yeah.
My inaugural.
I'm your client. I am.
You're actually not, like, you're a friend at this point.
Oh yeah.
You are a client when you're a client, but more than that, you're a friend. So we'll never deviate. I'll never treat you like one of my friends. Girl, just come over and take some pictures. When you're a client, you're a client.
All right.
I appreciate you. I love you. Peace and blessings to you today and forever. And until we go shopping.
Yes. And thank you for being a conduit, like connecting me or anybody with others. It's so helpful because you do get to meet a lot of people, creative people, in different entrepreneurs in different areas. And so being able to just make connections or make introductions and letting it grow from there is very helpful. So, and that feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I will learn, but I don't have to take the longest route to figure it out. And that will, sometimes it's like, do I need to learn something new? Do I need a new, whatever, certificate or something? And I'm like, I have many skills within me. Maybe I need to connect with somebody who has whatever I'm considering or whatever. So thank you.
You're welcome. And I get what you're saying. Like, we don't have to take the long route. We don't necessarily always need a certification, especially if that's going to take us 3 years. Just that voice that God is certainly like in our ear with. That's what we need. That's all that we need. And everything else just kind of falls into place. I know you've seen it throughout your life. Like you said in the beginning, how you you couldn't believe you were deleting and getting rid of parts of a yoga, and you're like, oh, but yeah, here I am getting rid of it. And sometimes we have our plan A as a fallback to keep us from doing what's next. We're like, if you have a yoga in place, you're like, well, I have a yoga, I need to focus on that, and I don't need to worry about this retreat. Or if the retreat doesn't work out, I have a yoga. Versus the plan is the plan. For me, there's not a plan B. There's not a second choice. There's a pivot. There's a different direction. But there's not a plan B. I don't have a plan B for my business. I don't have a plan B for my life. It is where I am. It is what it is. And then as things develop and change, that's fine. I'm fine. I'm open to that. I'm open to that.
Right.
And so I believe just through our conversation that you've been led to dissolve a yoga because it's not
yoga.
You're right. Sorry.
No.
It's not big. It's not big enough. You're not doing enough with it. And you may not be reaching everyone who needs you. Yeah. So here we are. And this recording is going to reach some folks that you didn't know you needed, or you could help, or they didn't know they needed you, but it's going to reach some folks. So thank you again. You're welcome. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Am I going to put this on a podcast? What am I going to do with this? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but I'm definitely very, I'm just doing what's been told for me to do. So
awesome.
Yes.
Let's continue to follow through.
Yes.
As we continue to move forward. So
yes.
Well done.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.